Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of BC Buckets. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Today, Colin, we have a pair of older wings projected to go in the first round. Nique Clifford of Colorado State and Adou Thiero of Arkansas. Nique is a little over 23 years old. Adou about 21 years old, both about 6'6", 6'7". Who are you higher on? What do you think? Where are you at with these two?
I love both these prospects.
Okay.
I'm actually pretty high on them. I'm gonna have them probably too high in my big board, but I think I don't know if I'm way higher on one or the other, but I do think one of them, the older one, is more NBA ready. Like I think Nique Clifford will step on an NBA court right away and help whatever team drafts him, whereas I think Adou's going to take a little bit of time. But I see both of them. Both of them have skills right away that I think can help teams. If you want to kind of give the overview and then we can get into it.
Yeah, no, I do. Obviously, for those who have seen him, just an awesome athlete. Uh, Ton of just strong dunks. He was 59.5% at the rim in the half court. Number one in the SEC in free throw rate and fouls
Yeah,
drawn. And one of the games, it was Arkansas versus Illinois, and I watched it, and he had 21 free throw attempts.
yeah, 21 free throw attempts.
Just
You're like, oh wow, like he's
at the basket every chance he gets. Really good cutter, solid passer. So Thiero is an athlete. The shooting is the big question with him. 7-foot wingspan as well on him.
mm-hmm.
And then Nique, the way I look at Nique is kind of just an all around a player. 20, like I said, over 23 years old. A guy who spent 5 years in college, 3 years at Colorado, 2 years at Colorado State, and this past year just was an awesome player on a very good Colorado State team that beat Memphis in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And he scored 19 points a game, 10 boards, 4.5 assists. So all very, very good numbers for him all around. 65.6% at the rim and half court, and just real polished. To your point of
Yep. For Adou, because I want to talk about him. I actually think, and I'm just gonna get into the ceiling just because
Go ahead.
I think it goes to my point. I actually think he could be like a star wing in the NBA just because of his physical tools. I think watching him like that 21 free throw game, obviously I don't think he's gonna get get those in the NBA, but like he is the slashing wing that I think can round out the rest of his game. Obviously his shot needs some work. He only had one game where he had multiple threes, which was Baylor.
So where are
But
you at with his shooting? If we
I
stayed on
think
that
his
point for a
shooting,
second,
just has to get good enough because of how good of a slasher he's otherwise.
he's
Like you mentioned him getting a free throw rate. It was almost 70%,
yeah,
69.2%.
crazy.
No regard for human life when he goes to the rim. I mean, it's like it's almost to a point where he hurts himself. I actually think he did hurt himself earlier this year by attacking
Yeah.
the basket and falling. But I think what he's able to do as a slasher and then defensively as a help side rim protector, you mentioned his 7-foot wingspan. He walls up well. I think he has really good hands. Both of those skills, to me, a lot of NBA teams need, and that's going to get him time on the court to develop into something where hopefully you can kind of see the three come to life. Obviously, his game completely relies on that. That's a swing skill, and I actually buy the shot because it doesn't look like it's broken, but the free throw percentage, which I don't
Yes,
have it
it's
right in
below
front of me.
70, 68.6% this
Yeah,
year.
so that's not a good indicator. But I think when I get in my comps that
Yeah,
hopefully
it's not a
hopefully it
bad
gets there.
form. The problem is 3 years in college,
Right.
and in year 3, we're still talking about a guy who went 11 of 42 from 3, and it's still sub 70% from the free throw line. So I struggle to really anticipating getting there in the next few years. I mean, there's crazier things have happened, obviously, and like you said, it just needs to be serviceable. I mean, we do live in a world where Lou Dort is out here knocking down 5 threes in an NBA Finals game, and I remember when he
Yeah.
got in the league and he couldn't shoot. So three-point shooting is something that is hard to predict, right? We can just evaluate it as prospects. Can they do it or not right now, and do we think they can? So I am with you in terms of I do like Adou as a first round talent. You're higher on him than I am, but like I I'm not gonna get into like my biggest qualm with him yet
Okay.
because I do want to like keep comparing him to Nique here, and with that I do have Nique higher because albeit he is 2 years older, I trust the on-ball ability of Nique as just an overall like player a
Right.
lot more here. And I don't know if Adou ever gets to this point. Adou has to thrive in his role. I think Nique is malleable enough to where if you want him on ball, you can put him on ball. If you want him off ball, he can play off ball. His assist rate was ridiculously high. I think he just makes really good decisions here. And I looked it up. It was on Synergy. He's in the 91st percentile as a pick and roll ball handler, including passes, and he had a ton of pick and roll opportunities. So, yeah, he loves the mid range step back. I think the offensive ability is really there for him to be versatile and to play in different schemes, like you said, for a team. So that's kind of the difference here. I'm just not sure if Adou ever reaches that point. He has to be a complete bulldog that just like overwhelms people and gets to the free throw line, which he
I'm
could.
buying it. I'm
You could
buying
buy
it.
it. I'm
This
not
is
saying
this is
not to
this is
buy
my
it.
guy. This is my guy this year. That's gonna do things. I hope.
This is it. This
This
is
is
it.
it.
Okay, so again, between these two, I think Nique's look, he is old for me. So here's the
Waiting for you to
thing.
bring up. But when you talk about, okay, so I'm gonna defend your ageism real quick. In the past, it's normally like you get like a 24-year-old guard. Grant Ritter is the
Grant
guy
Riller.
that I always remember. You're like, yeah, he can do everything in college, but he's 24
Yeah.
and he's small. Whereas I think when you look at a guy like Nique, yeah, he's old. He's gonna turn 24 after he gets drafted, but he has the size and the physicals and the skill also to fit an NBA team. Whereas you look at other guys who are normally the prototypical player that stays in
Okay.
college, they're not as, I guess, physically able to do that, or
Okay.
are
So
kind of
let's
staying a
just
little
look
bit
at
of
last
faster.
year's.
Yeah.
Dalton Connect, Tristan Da Silva.
Mm-hmm.
Both played fairly significant roles on their team. I mean, Connect kind of waned a little bit, but Da Silva, I mean, especially I think when Wagner went out, like was playing, or Banchero went out, was started, I think 30 something games for his team. I question what Nique Clifford's like. I think he can do a lot of things. What is his translatable skill?
I think,
Because I don't see like Connect shooting. Da
yeah, Connect
Silva
shooting, Da
shot
Silva
the hell out the
shooting.
ball too.
Yeah.
And was a 6'9" like kind of a wing defender type guy here. So I kind of saw the 3-and-D aspect of it. Nique, we're hoping to like just fit into a team and just be a really smart, and it could work, right? The Thunder, a lot of teams need guys that are just smart, cerebral, like guys that can fit roles or different roles.
Right.
So I'm not saying it can't work because he doesn't have like one obvious translatable skill, but like for Connect and Da Silva, I felt a lot more confident ranking them in a certain spot because I could see it. Nique, I think it depends on what team he goes to. I think it depends like on what they ask of him. I don't really know 100% what's
See, I
best.
don't know. I feel like he's kind of the do-it-all player in college right now. Like I could see him be a
Yeah, so
3-and-D
what
guy.
translates?
Well, I could see 3-and-D. He shoots 37% from three. He's streaky. I mean, I get
He
he's
was better off
streaky.
the dribble than he was on the catch this year,
Yes,
which is
but I
interesting.
think defensively he can guard 1 through 3. He rebounds really well.
He does. He does. He does.
So I mean, right away, that's what I think you can contribute on any NBA team. Now you do get into the role question of what else he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to be on the ball. He does have 4.5 assists per game, but is that going to be able
He
to
ain't gonna have the
be
ball in his hands
showcased?
enough at the
And that's
NBA
what I
level.
mean. So I understand what you're saying, but I think that he can be a guy where any one of the skills that he has in college can translate.
I think this isn't a comp for me. Maybe it should have been, but like the ideal situation for him would be like a Christian Brown for the Nuggets.
I hate you that you just said that. That's my comp for him.
That's your comp?
Yeah.
Wow, I just thought of that because I'm thinking of a guy who doesn't do anything like
Yeah.
overwhelmingly great.
And I loved him, by the way. You hated him.
I was lower on Christian Brown.
I was really high on Christian
I
Brown.
was wrong on that. But like again, Christian Brown, you're not going to say he does anything like spectacularly well. He's a good athlete, shoots the three well, good defender, hustles, rebounds, does like and so that's kind of I could see like that. But again, Christian Brown's on the Nuggets where he's playing off Jokic a lot of the times and Murray a lot of times. Like it feels like he doesn't have to go in there and do things a lot, or not. That's the wrong way of wording it. He doesn't have to be a focal point.
No, I get what you're
of what they're
saying.
doing.
Well, I mean, where's
Nique,
Nique going to get drafted, though? Like it's not going to be a
It'll
team
be
that needs
late,
him to be anything.
but my point is he has the ball in his hands a good amount. I'm interested to see what he can do off the ball. Is my question.
Okay,
Um,
that's a fair question.
for Adou, my one biggest holdup for him is positionally. I need to see if he's a 3 or a 4 in the NBA. That's my one holdup here. And I'm not saying he can't make it work at either one of them, but without being able to shoot, and I'm not sure, like, as a playmaker, as a ball handler, like, how he translates to the 3. Like, I wouldn't want him on the court with a 4 and a 5. So I'm thinking, like, Arkansas played him at the 4 a lot, like, whether it was with Big Z or whoever else. They played him at the 4 a good amount. So I'm like, is he a 4? And
I
maybe
have him as a 3.
maybe it works as a 4 because he can attack maybe a little bigger guys, but and he can defend, like you said. But the positional aspect of it is interesting to me with Adou. I don't know if
Yeah,
you.
I didn't even have that as a concern, so that's interesting that you bring that up. I think again,
Well, if he
I
shoots, then
guess
yeah, everything's fine.
I just buy his ability to shoot the 3 at the next level.
Yeah.
To a serviceable. I'm not going to say that he's a sniper or anything, but I think once he's able to be respected by defenders and draw a closeout, he's just going to attack that.
Yeah, and he's a good
And the
cutter
game
and
evolves
he
from
gets
there.
work from him. It's interesting. It is interesting. Both of these, I could see it. I could see it working. I
Who do
just
you
don't.
think has a higher potential?
Adou.
Okay.
I do. I think he could, like you said, if the shot kind of works out, I think the defense could be really good. And then he already gets to the rim at a high level. So I could see that potentially working here. Nique is going to have to be like a Christian Brown and be a functional role player there. So we'll see.
You know what's another interesting comp I had for Nique?
Ooh.
If he's able to do it all, Chris Middleton is what I have written down.
Okay. Well, now we're going to La La Land, I guess.
Is it though?
Yes.
Okay.
He does shoot a lot of mid-range jumpers, which honestly is a negative for me. I hate the shot selection sometimes for him.
But he was also, playing for Colorado State. So.
You're right. You're right. I mean, he couldn't get on the court
Is
of
that
Colorado.
actually a question for you where he
It
wasn't
is.
playing against good competition?
It is. Not to say like if he could have gone back to college for another year, like he would have been one of the best players in the country. So I'm not saying he couldn't have played at a high level program, but it is challenging because he played at Colorado State, and while he was good, it still never felt like he was overwhelming people there. Like Yaxel Lindenberg at UAB, honestly, I'd probably like as a prospect more than Nique because I felt like Yaxel was kind of overwhelming people in the American at times.
Yeah.
Nique was very, very good, but I don't know if I felt that same way. Comps real quick from me. We'll start with Nique. Nique was tough. I will say this isn't my comp, but I thought of Dylan Jones in last year's draft from Weber State, who he did everything at a small school. He's like, his numbers are very, very similar. It was like 19 and 10, and the shooting was like high 30s and so on and so forth. But I thought of like that kind of archetype.
That's an interesting comp.
For Nique, I did write down Derek Jones Jr. and Torrey Craig. If we're just trying to make something work as an off-ball wing here. Potential 3-and-D type stuff. Thiero's, this is the comp I liked. Have you said yours yet?
No, but I want to hear yours first.
All right, I'll go first. Keldon Johnson.
Oh, okay. That was not at all where I was going. That's an interesting one, though.
That is a bulldozer to the rim.
Yeah.
The shot is good, not great, and I think that's kind of holding him back a little bit. But Thiero's a little bigger than Keldon. Actually, I think he's significantly bigger. Let me look up Keldon Johnson's height real quick.
Yeah, Thiero's 6'7.5".
5. Yeah, Keldon's 6'5". Adou's 6'7". Like again, Adou could play the 4 in theory. Like Keldon is like a 2-3. So I like Keldon Johnson as my comp for Adou Thiero a lot.
Okay, my comp. We'll see if you love this or hate this. Stanley Johnson that finishes above the rim. And I know that doesn't bode well for the potential that I just said a second ago. But let me explain.
So all Stanley Johnson had to do was finish at the rim, and he's an all-star. Crazy.
Well,
who'd have thought? Who'd have known?
Well, no. So Stanley came into the league, and it was like he's really athletic, but he would never finish above the rim. He Adou would get kind of one dimensional and what he's going to do. Like he's going to attack the basket. But again, the difference is that athleticism, and Stanley Johnson's shot also looked way worse than Adou, but they had similar 3-point shooting percentages. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go that this is what Stanley Johnson should have been as a prospect. But again, 2 years older because Stanley Johnson was 19. So that is what I have written down, and then I have Jimmy Butler, kind of that arc where he's a slasher defender coming into the league and then turns into something eventually.
Yeah, those are good. Keldon, if anybody thinks that's negative of him, he averaged 22 points a game in 2022-23 on a bad Spurs team, but like he was.
Oh, Keldon's a good comp.
He went
I like
17 points, 22 points, 16 points last year, 13 points per game. Like,
yeah,
he's a very, very real rotation NBA player. So, yeah, there you go. Adou Thiero and Nique Clifford. Let us know what you think down below. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us or check out the other videos on our channel as well. We'll talk to y'all later.